live stream today?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties, delayed us a little bit, but we'll start off with the approval of minutes. We've got, five, I was gonna just, vote them all together. Five meetings, regular session for March 16th, executive session for March 18th, executive session April 3rd, executive session April 10th, as well as a special session April 10th. Now, entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, all sessions and executive as presented.
Now, motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Brad, second, all in favor? 4-0, pass. Now to the presentation of claims. I'll entertain a motion when ready.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the presentation of claims as presented.
Got a motion, and a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor? 4-0, pass. Now on to public interest. None heard. Now on to informational reports. Mr. Judy.
Good evening. School-wide, the elementary celebrated a Purple Up Day on Wednesday, April 15th. That was in honor of the military children that we have here at North Davis Elementary. We've got about 7, maybe 8 down there, and as you know, we're a Purple Star school, and you know, it's just the right thing to do to celebrate these resilient students. Also, the Davis County Health Department conducted a vaccine clinic for 5th graders back on March 31st. That was a Tuesday, and on Tuesday, March 17th, we had spring pictures for those who wanted to get their picture taken. Grade level wise, our 4th grade visited McCormick's Creek on Friday, April 10th. And back on Monday and Tuesday, April 6th and 7th, our 3rd grade visited Westgate for STEM activities. And our 6th grade recently visited the Davis County Courthouse in NASCO as part of their Civic and Social Studies curriculum on Friday, April 17th. North Davis Elementary will be offering iRead, hopefully, for summer school this summer. And for any 2nd grader who is at risk, according to the iRead, along with any 3rd or 4th grader who did not pass the iRead 3. Students who have not yet passed the iRead 3 will be given a second opportunity on May 11th and 12th. And any 3rd or 4th grader needing a 3rd opportunity will have that opportunity given to them again later in June. Professional development-wise, this year, Mrs. Tabitha Loninger was trained as an ROI STEM mentor. She was able to attend professional development in computer science, AI, engineering and design challenges, microelectronics, and hydraulics. In addition to these opportunities, ROI gave her a class set of microbits, 2 chomp saws, and a cardboard cutting tool. And then at her final training event, she was informed that she would be getting a 3D printer to keep in her STEM classroom. And you know, we're really proud of her accomplishments and her desire to become a mentor. She was already a part of the STEM Fellowship back a few years ago, and she's done a wonderful job with our STEM program at the elementary. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Judy. Thank you.
Junior senior high school. This weekend is prom. We have a grand march starting at 6, and then the prom activities moving into the auditorium. And post-prom is also being held here at the school. That'll start after prom's over and conclude, I think, at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, I think.
This past weekend, the band went to Northview up in Brazil. They participated in the ISMA organization, band organization. They received a silver rating. Upcoming field trips that we got going on, juniors are going to be going to the west side on the 21st. 21st in the afternoon. High school academic Super Bowl will be going to North Knox. On the 24th, state small engines competition for FFA will be going on in Crawfordsville, which we have two people competing in that competition. May the 12th is going to be the Day of Charity in Davis County. That'll be involved with the tennis, baseball, and softball teams. We have nothing pending for any PE coming up.
Thank you, Mr. Darrell. Athletic report, small.
Sure. Give you guys each copy. Good, thank you. I hate to read it all to you, but I'm going to because I feel like it's important words. So, the handout says, outdoors require a lot of maintenance. It often comes up due to hard winters, sometimes causing random equipment issues due to weather factors that are simply hard to predict. Spring sports coaches don't have the luxury that indoor sports tend to enjoy, and thus they're often called upon, basically expected, to pitch in so that their facilities are ready to go when the weather breaks. The extra work and labor manpower comes from coaches and volunteers who are willing to go above and beyond. Important equipment such as the lift available from Twin Rivers Automotive is critical to getting out projects done quickly but safely. From identifying faulty sprinkler heads and fixing leaks to cutting and replacing solder on the diamonds, from hanging signage and placards to completely painting and insuring the scoreboard, our softball and baseball coaches have donated a lot of time and money to spruce up their playing areas. Likewise, on the other side of the school, the sport of track and field also requires a lot of extra help. Equipment's very expensive, and coaches do their best to patch and repair. In some cases, for example, make a trip up north in order to get a replacement foam for padding to save our school money. Similarly, the coaches ask members of their team, parents, community members, and staff to give of themselves and pitch in to various event stations, so running, throwing, and jumping events are all properly supervised and recorded. These kinds of efforts save the maintenance department, the athletic department, and our school corporation thousands of dollars over the course of the spring sports season. I want to publicly thank each and every one of these head coaches, assistant coaches, volunteer assistants, athletes, parents, and community members for giving of their time and equipment to make sure North Davies is doing what they can to make the most of their resources. For your information, this spring our school has nearly 200 student athletes participating at the high school and junior high feeder level. So, again, thank you to those folks. It takes a lot, and you just can't predict the weather, but spring sports seem to hit right after basketball season. And some days it's 70 and some days it's 20, and it really does a lot equipment-wise. We just really can't predict some of the things that happen during the winter. So I just want to thank those folks that pitch in and they give a lot of time, and in some cases money, but a lot of times it's just labor. So I just want to thank those folks.
So thanks, John, for
You bet.
pointing that out and recognizing that.
You bet.
Okay, Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Dr. Stone.
So on Friday, March 20th, we held an outstanding professional development waiver day, marking the successful completion of the first year of our 3-year state-approved program. The morning began with Mr. Wayne Thacker discussing staff benefits, followed by insightful breakout sessions led by outstanding presenters, Mrs. Marley Burris from Indiana Literacy Cadre, and Mrs. Amanda Mueller from Edmonton, as well as our own dedicated district staff members, Mrs. Stuffle, Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Boo, Dr. Hancock, Mrs. Deering, Mrs. Buckeye, Mr. Carlson, and Mrs. Collins. Following these sessions and productive departmental discussions on vertical articulation, the staff enjoyed a wonderful lunch featured from Casa Villa, Taco Bar, and treats from Whitmer's Catering that was generously provided by Braden Westner and the insurance shop. We concluded the productive day with an afternoon dedicated to specialized grade level learning and individualized purposeful planning, effectively wrapping up the final installment of our 4-part waiver series for the year. Curriculum-wise, you can see I've got you some data here. I don't want to share, but I wanted to at least have you have it. It's all still embargoed. But what you see here is our March 10th SAT data for both reading, writing, and math. You checkpoints 1, 2, and 3 are all different standards. So you can't really compare 1, 2, and 3 to each other and look for growth because they're all totally different standards. So on the back, I put together an overall I-Learn checkpoints. The state gives us a summative prediction percentages for each one of the grade levels. And that number helps us to see where kids are at, basically to be able to build our goal groups and see what kids are close, need extra supports leading into the I-Learn. So you can see our math and ELA predictions above and below state average. Technology-wise, I know I've talked about it a lot, but the parent portal has been rolled out. A welcome letter was sent to all parents, and this is stuff over the PR team created videos to share on Facebook. We've received nothing but positive feedback on the new feature to help keep our students safe when using our online learning tools. And this time, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Stuffle to come up and talk about PR things that we have going on.
I put one of these on each of your desks. There's a lot of numbers in it, but I wanted to make sure I gave you all the numbers. I'm not gonna go through all the numbers because it's a lot. I'm gonna give you an overview, but, if you didn't know, I do some PR, marketing, and communications for the school. One period a day, I have dedicated to that. And so just a little overview of what I've given you. What we've accomplished this school year so far, we've had over 4 million total views across the 3 school pages, the high school, the elementary, and the corporation page on Facebook. On TikTok alone, we've had 1.3 million views, nearly 900 new TikTok followers in the last 365 days, and we've had tens of thousands of interactions. Our reach, something that really surprised me when I got into the analytics, our reach is way beyond Oakville, North Plainville. 55 to 60% of our audience is coming from outside of our district. So that really surprised me. The communities that showed up the most were Washington, Indianapolis, Vincennes, and Bloomington for the views that we're getting across all of our social media platforms. What does this mean? Families aren't just seeing our content, they're connecting with it, they're sharing it, making it more visible to other people. My approach to this whole thing has just been transparency. I feel like we have a really good school district, and if we show people what's going on here, they're gonna connect to it through that authenticity. So I put, most importantly, I made myself a little thing. When families consistently see the real experiences of our students, they're more likely to choose North Davies. Why do I think this works? Because we're not trying to give people a spiel. We're not giving them necessarily a marketing slogan. We're just showing them real classrooms, real students, the real offerings that we have, the real success stories. It's the truth of what's going on in our school. Things I would like to do maybe in the future that we have been talking about and looking at, possibly a billboard campaign. Still trying to stay rooted in the authenticity, but can we, we're in kind of a prime location here, so we can be accessible from other places. More social media advertising, maybe some literature and updating some brochures and booklets I've seen from some other schools, putting those in places where, out at Westgate, maybe some businesses, or the Welcome Center at Crane, where there might be new families moving to the area. Looking at our Meet the Teacher Night and our 7th grade boot camp, and how can we showcase our school better in those. And then having a community presence at events for businesses and just opportunities for people just to be there to show our presence. I think it's really important that we're present so that people know that we're here. The 3 most important things, I think, are showing people who we are, what we offer, and why our students succeed. So I think that's the most effective recruitment strategy we have, and I think that our community is our best partner in showing that. So we've done a lot, and I look forward to trying to help get more students and more people in our North Davies community. So thank you.
Do you know if other schools are showcasing as we are doing?
To a degree, everybody's kind of doing it in a different way. But I'm getting, everything I'm putting out, I'm getting straight from the teachers. They are or I'm going into their classroom and getting it. Like, it's firsthand source. Like, a lot of times, the elementary teachers especially, they're taking the pictures themselves and sending them to me. And, this year we actually recently were able to get a platform in which those teachers are gonna be able to make the posts themselves, and we simply just, have to moderate them and approve them for posting. So then it will literally become straight from the teachers.
Great job.
If you have any other questions, please feel free.
That's great information, I look forward
Yeah,
to other.
and there's QR codes in there, so follow us on all your social media platforms. This is my shameless plug there. Thank you. Dr. Stone?
And Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, this year she has one period, we're trying to get her 2 periods next year to free her up even more to visit classrooms and
Yeah.
have meetings and
Yeah.
pursue.
Because I'd like to be regularly able to go to the elementary, and I'm not able to do that right now.
Yeah. I will say she's a blessing, and thank you, Mrs. Stoffel, for everything that you're doing.
Got some more, Dr. Stone?
It's actually my turn, but he's gonna help me in a minute. My part of reporting tonight, we're required just to share, it requires no action. Remember, next year, we're joining that food cooperative called CLIC, and they are required to notify all members that they have gone out to bid and who has received the bids for certain product areas. For example, their main line distributor, they're going with US Foods, the fresh produce, they're going with Piazza Produce and Specialty. So in your board packet that you had received, there is a listing of who their RFPs have been awarded to. Again, no board action required, just mandatory information. The second part of also the combi oven is to be installed on April 23rd, so this week. So we hope to have that up and running by next week, and the training comes with that, and the cooks are looking forward to using that at the elementary. The second part of my presentation has to do with a lot of important meetings that we've been having, and it is truly over a year's work in progress of our vision and what we want to work toward in the CTE wing of the building, with acknowledgement of what our financial restraints are and what can we do within the normal blueprint to expand that program. I know we have shared with the board very quickly some room rearrangements that we were going to do. We have met with all the teachers, even met with some students and their parents, and Rob was able to join that meeting just to share in further detail the why behind the moving around that we're going to do. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Stone to share more details on that.
Yeah, I've given you the document with these same slides. The first thing is, we went through, and this is the overall piece of it, and I'll break this down in a minute, but this is all the changes that we made in the building and have the new room assignments. So the first part I want to look at is the science area. Okay, this is the catalyst to everything that we've been doing. Without this change, we wouldn't be able to have the opportunity to be able to improve our CTE areas. And so our first change is that we're going to make the labs into Science Lab and Science B in the high school area, so that they can be shared labs. And then what that allows us to do is move Mrs. Brimsberg, Mrs. Gerald's, and Mrs. Bullock into the area right across the hallway from it, because these 3 teachers utilize science the most. And we want them to be able to have access to the science labs because they do a lot of those things. You notice right off the back side of the science lab, that door, there used to be a greenhouse there. Well, there will be one going soon. The greenhouse that was there, the small one, it was in disrepair. There's no way we could utilize it. But what that allowed us to do by removing it from the building, and when they do the EFS, they'll be able to repair anything around there, put sidewalks in, and
This area.
yes, allows us to get quicker access out to the greenhouse, so it allows Mrs. Grimsberg to be able to get to the greenhouse easier with her students and utilize that area. Through the conversations, these are things that we know that we needed, including hydroponics and a small animal area. But you see that these
Short-term, small animal.
short-term, small area animal. You notice these sidewalks are coming right directly from both lab areas, so they will be utilized that way. Ms. Gerald has commented that the school that she just came from before she came back here in Plainfield, they had moved to this same setup where they're having one classroom and then sharing the lab spaces. So we're going to outfit these without doing a lot of work to them to allow these 3 teachers to share these 2 lab areas. One of the things I know that talking to Mrs. Smith, she had said that she's trying to get set up that there's only 2 science teachers available each period, and I think there's only 1 where all 3 of them actually have class at the exact same time, a lab class at the exact same time. So they'll be able to share those and their resources.
Because historically, we had 4 or 5 science teachers and only had 3 labs. Because we have a small quasi-lab down in the junior high. So by moving the teachers out, everybody has equal access to maximize the lab that they will need to do those hands-on activities. One thing that Ms. Gerald had actually said too, most of us went here, in this lab area, this classroom section in 607 is extremely small. And it's not very big. When you're not doing a lab, she can't ambulate and, go around the classrooms monitoring how the kids are doing if they need help. So one thing she had told Dr. Stone was she needed a bigger instructional area. So by giving them an actual classroom to use when they're not doing labs will enable her to be more close in proximity and helping those kids that may need some extra support.
And the thing is, they don't use the science lab every day as a classroom teacher. That's the difference. So that's why it's going to be able to be utilized. There'll be less downtime actually in the labs than we've had before. So what that's allowed us to do is the next piece is that this is where we could rebuild and rechange the CTE area. Now our initial plan was we wanted to add on off the back, build a brand new welding shop, make all these changes. But with that change, we now can do this without changing our footprint. There's going to be tech shop A, B, and C with the primary focus of these things. And the welding in 614, that'll be a welding shop, but it'll also be a large project area. So the welding will not overtake just that room and not be able to utilize it. They'll be able to do large projects using the garage door and be able to get things in and out a little bit easier. The main reason we need to do welding over there is because it's difficult to get metal in and out from the doors that we have. And so that's going to help us there. Then in the middle is the Fab Lab, which we got a $100,000 grant a few years ago, and some of the equipment that we had. And so we'll be able to spread that out a little bit more and give ourselves some more classroom-like activity working space. Now we know that by moving the welding, the small engine area, it will move into 506 up into the front. At least at this point, that's the plan. So there'll be plenty of room and areas for them to do small engines. So the whole plan here does not take away from any programming that we currently have. In fact, we're hoping that it'll grow. And then the manufacturing shop, we're making some changes there. We're moving away from being woods. So we'll be removing some equipment that we do not utilize to improve the area, possibly grow to do some CNC work, maybe get some more 3D printers that are a little bit larger, things like that. By saving the extra money that we'd have to spend on the building and footprint, it's going to give us open up to cover a lot of the needs that we have here, including the elementary roof and the cost cuts that have happened in operations. And so hopefully also get some equipment and make some smaller changes that we can do in the building.
And the one thing that I want to reiterate what Dr. Sung just said, we are not eliminating or minimizing FFA or AG or any of those programs. Just because they're being moved doesn't mean they're being downsized. They're just being done in a different area. So we appreciated when we met with the teachers. It's a lot for some of our teachers. Some of them are just moving to a different classroom. It's a lot for our CTE teachers to go through this, and we recognize that. So I want to thank them for their patience and their trust that we're doing what's best for their program. It's just change is hard sometimes.
You notice also, if you go back to this one, Mrs. Grimsberg's classroom would be significantly bigger than what she had before. and she does a lot of lab stuff in there. I was in there today when she was doing 8th grade lab, and it's very tough to maneuver in there with as many kids as they have, so it's gonna be a little bit bigger room. Flint usually has smaller class sizes, because we don't need that, many kids in the shop at one time doing well, so.
And he currently doesn't have a classroom.
Right, he does not have a classroom at all. He was right there where 506 was at. He kind of built a makeshift one of his own. But Ag and FFA will still have access to the shops just like anybody else. So Mrs. Rumsberg will have the access to be able to go to either the science labs or these labs as needed. So they're fully available to both. The next thing is we wanted to make some changes in the junior high hallway. I know that Mr. Gerald's talked about this a lot, is that we want to try and keep our 7th grade students and 8th grade students in that wing as much as possible. Well, the first priority would be 7th. So if we're going to do a transition from 6th grade being self-contained, we want 7th grade to stay that, but they'll have a little bit of movement, not much. And so by moving Mrs. Kemper down, who's the special ed teacher, that'll keep those students down in that area. Mr. Reynolds will move down over. That used to be Mrs. Ford was in the room Mrs. Grimsburg had, and they will share the lab with Mrs. Toole. And so those two will be science teachers together, and they'll have the same setup. They'll share it back and forth. So by doing that, that puts all of our 7th grade math, our 7th grade ELA, our 7th grade science, 7th grade special ed, all in the same wing. So, and also 7th grade social studies and health. The only thing that they'll have to leave the room for is if they're mainly required or if they're in PE. The 8th grade, there'll be 2 classes that we couldn't cover down here, but it'll be minimal to how many times that they're going to be leaving their space as well. So that was a big effect that we wanted to try to accomplish to help make that transition better. And what's happened over the years, it's always been important, but we've had so many staffing changes, we haven't had a chance to just do this. Because sometimes it causes enough people. So at one point we had 17 teachers moving. Now we're down to 9. So we've done a lot better, a lot of looking and seeing what would work. So then the last thing is kind of an overall look at the high school. We've made a couple of aesthetic moves, just different people. But Mrs. Lancaster had to move out of her area, so she'll go up front. Mrs. Gaines is going to also join her. Mr. Payneberg will move back out by Mr. Giesler, or Mrs. Giesler. The other thing is room 125 for Gaines used to be our tech room. It is still right now, but it won't be anymore. We don't do the same type of imaging and things that we used to. We don't need a full classroom utilizing that space. So Mr. Huff will move into the library media center, that little office in there, and he'll have plenty of room to be able to utilize and be able to do the things that he needs to do on the computer. For example, when you set up the Chromebooks now, you basically get online and you set it up and send it to them. You don't have to have them all plugged in and do the things like it used to be and sit there and go through a process. So that's going to help. By moving him there, he's still closer to the server room, but we had talked about putting a hole in between each other. We're not doing that in that area. That wall is way too thick and way too much stuff in it.
This is our server room right now, and that room cannot be moved. And we're moving Mr. Huff in here. This is an old exterior wall because of the open court. We don't want to blow through that wall.
No.
They'll just have to walk around. It'll be okay.
And in the server room, we'll put some more storage so he puts computers and things. Another thing that we were trying to accomplish was to get a special ed conference room.
Or just a conference room, whether
Yeah.
it's special ed or not.
So we're going to move Mrs. Hancock
From that room.
from that room there and make that a small conference room, which will help tremendously with when parents have to come in or anybody else if they're not going through the whole building. On the left-hand side, you can see Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Graber, and then Mrs. Spear. Mrs. Graber was one door over, but now we've moved her up beside Mrs. Smith. They have shared door, but they also share resources a lot. They cover for each other when things are going on and that they need to. If there's a parent that comes in and needs to talk, they can cover each other's classes for each other. That's normal procedure. Before, Mrs. Kemper was right in between them, and we moved them together so they can have the same doors right beside each other. And then Mrs. Spear coming in, and then, we have very few health classes at the high school. They'll go to that room as well. If you see in the office, it's kind of a little hard to see. It's a little smaller down at the bottom. We're gonna make some changes there as well. So, all the staff members had some input of what would be best to move, and the idea is to move the nurse back into Mr. Mullen's office where it used to be. Mr. Mullen will go to there, back to her room, and then
Basically, the
Mr.
nurse and Mullen are switching rooms.
Yeah, Mr. Cole, our new dean of students, will be right in front of Mr. Mullen. He'll be part of the office. Marlene will move back into her little office that she was in for many years.
That has to be. And these three rooms are all, it doesn't show it on here, but there's actually a door there now. So Mr. Mullen and Mr. Cole actually will share a door as well. You know, we talked earlier about coaches helping out. I want to give an appreciation comment to Marlene and Beth. Marlene, they cleaned out this little storage area right here, and Marlene painted it, and Beth laid the flooring this weekend so that they could get everything out of this room, so that Marlene can jump over there, so that Mr. Cole will have his office available for him now to start moving things in. So I appreciate Marlene and Beth helping with that.
And just to go back to that big picture here, you can see down at the bottom left, those two rooms, which is 102, 104, you see MRJH. That's where Maggie will move,
Across from the home ec room.
and then Julie will move into that other room. So we put a lot of effort in this, a lot of conversations, a lot of trying to figure out what our needs were from teachers. As I told them, I kind of kept it from them for a while because I needed to have their real answer. I didn't need them to know that they might get moved. I wanted to know what their real needs were. And the goal of this move was not just to move people, it was to try to meet everyone's needs as much as we could possibly. And, you know, it was a difficult process. We still got a lot of work to do with it. But I think moving forward is going to be a great plan for us without having to spend all of that money adding on to the building.
Is 102 a storage area, is that for just?
Yes. Yeah, it's principal storage. That used to be my classroom.
If you remember, it used to be 2 classrooms,
Right.
and then when we remodeled, we put a bathroom across from the auditorium. So it's a lot smaller than it was in this classroom, but
Yeah.
it is high school storage right now.
And that's another area we looked at being able to utilize if we needed to. So that was part of our conversation. Also, Darlene Keith is going to move into Daryl's office, and Daryl's going to move out to the bus barn. That's another thing that we needed to have happen. So,
I'm sorry, you mentioned Daryl and
Yeah.
Darlene.
because Daryl or Darlene will need to have an assistant with her, she needs a bigger room.
Because right now Darlene is in the old concession stand right here by the trophy case in the main entrance, which is very small, and there's not room for 2 people in there. There's hardly room for her and all, everything she has going on.
Do we currently have like 4 rooms that have retractable doors in them?
We have removable wall in this room. So there's 2 in the senior hallway, there's 1 in the junior hallway.
2 in the junior high.
2 in the junior high, so 5. Some of them used to have them and they have stud walls now, like this one here used to be removable years ago and it's a stud wall. There's one across from the biology room that used to have a removable, it's now a stud wall. So there are some that still remain.
And they stay closed most of the time.
Yeah.
also, so.
Yeah, and when we went back with the retractable walls, we got the kind of wall that also had a door in it. So if they do need to pass over to the neighbor, they don't have to go out in the hallway, they can actually open the door inside the classroom.
I know it's not as thick as a regular wall, but does it bother one classroom?
I think it's better than it used to be. I don't think it's as good as what, like, cinder block is. If you remember, all of our walls in this building are almost metal. So I don't think there's much difference. Becky, if you were in a classroom. that-
Yeah, I mean, it was way better after we got the new walls, definitely as far as sound traveling through, and Amy and I never had an issue.
And it's actually better than the stud ones. Because this one in between here, it's a lot easier to hear from the kids in her classroom what they're doing.
like he had mentioned, the vision does include pouring some concrete sidewalks, a concrete pad to put a portable shed on. We actually were able to get a portable shed already at a discount. It was used, it was in good shape. We do recognize as well that the greenhouse, we replaced the roof a while back when we had wind damage, but we realized the side panels, so that is something where actually the kids are helping us measure and get an idea of how much we need, and then we'll get quotes and bring that back. But we do, obviously, we're not gonna replace that right now because it's our hot season. When it slows down is when we'll replace the walls. Because a lot of them have, it's almost like weed eating and mowing damage at the bottom. They're just worn and there's holes in it. And then Darrell Wagler is also working with some vendors to get the controls working better in the greenhouse, because they're not functioning 100%.
Are we expecting all this to be ready to go by next school year, or was it a multi-year project, or?
All of that moving, we're hoping to get done before school starts next year. So if anybody's ever bored and wants to help me, let me know.
Does the greenhouse utilize the school's heating and air conditioning system for that?
It has its own, but it's all wired through us. But it has its own control system out there, which needs some work, and Daryl's working on that.
Pretty well, no objection.
I'd just like to say, the meeting I sat in on with the ag teacher and some students, there was concern, and yes, they recognize that area down there as the ag area. But after the meeting, we had a lot of good information that Mary and Jody shared with them, and it is a change, and we recognize that. So, but I think the change will be for the better, and I hope they will recognize that. And yes, 10 years from now, it will probably still be recognized as the ag room, but I hope the meeting helped them a lot in understanding the vision that North Davies has here.
And I can't say enough about the three students, Landon Woodruff, Jackson Wagler, and Johnny Fish. They represented themselves like mature young men that brought up topics that we needed to consider, and ran a very professional meeting with them. So compliments to their parents. They've done well.
They did very well. Yes. And I thank them for coming in and voicing their concerns.
Item personnel.
Personnel, we have resignation. Claire Thomas is an elementary Title I para. It will be effective at the end of the school year.
Do I have a motion for the resignation?
Mr. President, make a motion, we accept the resignation of Claire Thomas.
Mr. Brennan, have a second?
I'll say.
All in favor? 4-0 pass.
ECA, some out-of-season 25-26 contracts. So from July 1st of 25 through June 30th of 26. Coach Dalrymple did do some out-of-season from July to the end of the basketball season, and we have never approved that stipend to go to anybody for this contract. So recommending Brent Dalrymple get the out-of-season for the 25-26 school year. Recommending girls and boys golf out-of-season of $2,505 go to Chris Loheider and Nick Weininger. That stipend is always split between the boys head coach and the girls head coach. So recommending Chris and Nick for that. High school summer band contract amount is $2,806 for Jeff Vandermel. Junior high summer band is $1,237, and that would go to Jeff Vandermel. And then we have a boys and girls varsity track volunteer coach in Mr. Zayden Long. So request permission of those 5 appointments.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. I have a motion regarding the ECA stipends and hires.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion. I have a second.
I'll say it.
Brad seconded. All in favor? Pass 4-0.
And then the second part of ECA is for the 26-27 school year. So, some of these are fall coaches, so varsity girls co-coaches. I did not put the word golf in there, my apologies. That is varsity girls golf co-coaches. Nick Weininger and Dr. Stone will split the 2505. And then junior high girls and boys golf co-coaches would split the $1,280, and also Nick Weininger and Dr. Stone will split that. Varsity boys football coach, Mr. Trent Fine at $7,424. Cross-country varsity coach is $2,880 to Michael Callison. And then varsity boys tennis coach of $2,505 to Adam Schulte.
Okay, for the recommended TCA positions, do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the recommendations as presented.
Do I have a second? Seconds. All in favor? Pass 4-0. Other business.
Other business, permission to decommission school bus number ND-8. I've provided the VIN number. It's a 2000 Thomas. We purchased it in April of 2018 for $9,000. Current mileage is 107,921. The radiator blew up, among other things, about a month ago. So it's been out of commission for a while. It was next on the list to be decommissioned anyway, and the bus that we had already ordered to replace it should be here any day, hopefully within the next week or two.
So we're gonna scrap this one out for parts again?
Yep.
or sell it?
We've already stripped everything off of it we can keep.
Keep it at one.
Yeah. This one doesn't have as many compatible parts, but if it's compatible, we took it.
So when the new bus comes in, do we always have one on order, or how's that work? Is it off the cycle? Because I remember when I first started coming here, we were like bus 96 or 97 and kept waiting and waiting. I didn't know how the cycle process was on the buses.
We usually try to order one a year.
Okay, that's what I was just curious.
Yeah, I am looking at buying some used ones this year instead of ordering new. With the budget cuts in the operation, I just wanna make sure we aren't overextended. And right now, our buses, I was looking at the mileage on them yesterday. Gilbert got me all of those numbers. And we have one bus that's really high in mileage, but it's the special ed bus with the wheelchair lift that we are now resting because the new one came in. Everything else is sitting pretty good with mileage. So I really think we should take a year off from buying brand new and be just fine.
There's no delays in the ordering or anything?
It's getting better. When we ordered the handicap bus, it was 18 months, and this one was about 3 months quicker.
Not to put you on the spot, but how many years is the bus normally last us?
It really depends on mileage. They're good, over 200,000 miles. One of our special ed buses right now has got 207,000 miles on it.
And what year is it?
I can't remember. It's one we bought from J. Arms when we took over special ed transportation 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to, is it worthwhile buying a new bus versus?
If you get the good mileage on it with a good year, which it really just depends what kind of deal you find. I'm working with Dave Dorset from Curlin Bus, and he has knowledge statewide. He has some used buses that have air brakes, and he has some used buses that don't have air brakes. Some of them have 100,000 miles on them already, and they're about $30,000 a piece. And some of them have about 50,000 miles on it, but they're about 90,000 a piece.
Is that a combination of corporate buses and privately owned, or?
These are all corporation buses that have been returned and ran through his, what's it called, when they certify them to where they're able to be sold.
Okay.
So requesting permission to decommission that bus.
I have a motion to decommission the bus.
Mr. President, I make a motion, we decommission the bus as presented.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
I'll second it, all in favor? Pass 4-0.
Okay, food service, as as you remember, a month or two ago, we voted next year to go self-operating and not have a food service management company. This year, we are currently under OPA, and we will be going self-operated next year. With that being said, I am requesting that we promote Darlene to North Davies Food Service Director at an hourly rate of $24 an hour, 7.5-hour day, 200 days. That would make her total income $36,000, and she would also be eligible for vision, dental, and health insurance as per the non-certified handbook. I want to treat these separately, if that's okay. These two items under food service.
I have a motion regarding the food director.
I make a motion to approve.
Rob made a motion, have a second?
I'll say it.
Have a second, all in favor? Pass 4-0.
I also request that be paid out of the food service line, which is account 800. Then also out of account 800, request permission to advertise for an assistant food director. And this would be a new position, and the salary range anticipated to be $17 to $19 an hour, 185 days, vision, dental, and health insurance as per the non-certified handbook.
Ms. Perry, a question. So I know this is for better quality food and more efficiency. Is there a cost savings as well, or is this going to be a?
Yes, we will, when we go under a food service management company, we purchase through their food vendors, and we feel that the Click Cooperative is gonna be cheaper food, but good quality food. And then also, we have to pay them a management fee. So every meal that we serve, a cut of that is going to OPA or Aramark or Chartwells, whoever you use. There's always that administrative and management fee, so we're gonna be saving that. Darlene has worked hard to take all the classes, and she's still taking those classes to be a certified food service director, so that we meet state guidelines. So, her assistant would be her assistant, but would also work the line if we're shorthanded. That's the job that Darlene used to do. So, she's also helping with the clerical and the state reporting and the free and reduced apps and all of the red tape that goes with running a food service program. She will also be on call if we're shorthanded, if someone calls in sick and we can't find us up.
At both schools, or just up here?
Both schools. Yeah. Her office will be in Darlene's area, which is currently Daryl's area, but she will be on call for both buildings.
And Darlene will cover both buildings, correct?
Correct. Yep, these are corporation level positions. Both of them paid out of the food service line.
Did we ever get, I know we were having trouble with people with OPA and everything, where are we at with that?
It's been an interesting last 5 days. Today, actually, we settled the bills at about 5 o'clock tonight, to where I am comfortable with the bills, and I'll be bringing those to you in May. We have not paid a penny to OPA. So there's gonna be a big bill, but I will tell you, it has been gone through with a fine tooth comb. And they've had to take some things off of the bill, some things that were charged that shouldn't have been. And I am probably the most comfortable I've ever been with a food service bill. So it will be a big one, because it'll be July through March.
And then they compensated us for not having this.
Not in the, we are not getting charged for a person to be in-house, which was part of the bid. They promised us a person on site from OPA. We're not getting charged for that. We are still paying a fee for every meal that we're served, but we aren't paying for that person in-house.
Any more discussion? Regarding that? I have a motion to hire the assistant food director.
Mr. President, I make a motion to hire a assistant food director.
Do I have a second?
I'll say it.
Brad seconded, all in favor? 4-0, pass.
Okay, out of operation line 300, requesting that we purchase an upgrade to our current Computro voice system. Voice runs our accounting system, which is called Computro. Our ECA ladies, which would be Marlene in the high school and Tammy in the elementary, currently use a system that is not cloud-based. Their current system will no longer be supported. They do not have a choice. They have to go to a cloud version if we stay with CompuTrol. And we need to stay with CompuTrol. I would say probably over 90% of the state are with CompuTrol. So Marlene and Tammy aren't gonna have a choice. They have to go cloud. Recommending, or do you guys want to, we probably ought to do these separately. Recommending that the ECA accounts go to the cloud-based system through voice, which the first year would be $3,813, which is 50% off on the first year. And then annually thereafter, it will be $7,626 or whatever increase they may see, I'm sure. But
We don't have any projections over 1 year.
no.
Are we paying for anything that they're using right now?
Yes. Right now, our CompuTrol right now, I'd have to look. We are. I don't have that number in my head. I was prepared for the doc delivery amount, but I wasn't prepared for the voice. But yes, we are paying for it. It's not that much because it's not cloud-based.
All right, hearing that, do I have a motion for the ECA software?
I'll make a motion to approve this.
Rob made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Brad seconded, all in favor? 4-0, Pat?
The second part of voice, we currently pay voice for all of the accounting software that we do. They have a new opportunity for schools to use an HR side of the accounting. And we already use the piece to our current system, like I said, and we were wanting to go to the pro version of the HR side, which has a discount for the first year. The first year would be $11,070, but this would allow us to have employees electronically sign their contracts, view their pay stubs, view their benefits and deductions, and then also enter and change the information on their tax forms, other deductions, banking account information, demographics, etc. Right now, if you want to change any of those items I just listed, you have to give Stacy an email or a letter and she has to hand enter every one of them. We have over 200 employees. That gets taxing. So Stacy and Glenda and I sat in on a webinar with this product and then also met with, I forget her name, Heather Sieber on Voice. Right now, this is the middle version of what they offer. There's 3 different levels. If you remember, I put the flyer in your packet. The base amount didn't really do everything we wanted to do, so the pro amount that's in the middle is what we would like to do. The third level, the enterprise, none of that's even available yet. It's still in development. So we're not asking for the enterprise level.
That sounds bad.
I know. They're still trying to get it, and I say, there's just so much that they're developing. It's not that it's not working, they're just developing it. Because on top of this product, they are also coming in with another product that will be released hopefully in a year. It's time cards. Right now, people are submitting timesheets. She has to hand enter every timesheet. And this would allow them to do it electronically, and it shoots it right into CompuTrol. She doesn't have to hand enter. That's not even ready yet. So this pro level, like we talked about, and I'll let Stacy elaborate here if you have questions about what it's going to save on her time to get some of this stuff done. Stacy's supposed to go home at 3:30 every day. Stacy, when do you usually go home? So she's here a lot, and hopefully, easily, I feel we're gonna save this in her salary, whether we're paying overtime or whether she actually gets to go home on time. So requesting that we purchase the pro level of the Voice Employee Hub at a first year discount of $11,070. The years after will be $12,300.
We're not locked in any kind of a contract or anything,
Nope, it's year to year. And this wouldn't even, this is supposed to be ready, I mean, it's ready now, but they're already backed up, everybody knows it's probably gonna be January before we can even get in.
But this is active and working well to our knowledge.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Is there anything you wanna add? I don't wanna put you on the spot.
I do wanna say, on the base and the pro, I mean, on the, like if someone wants to change their direct deposit for bank information, I usually have to give them a form to change it, then I have to hand enter everything on there. But with this here, they can enter it in on the computer, and as soon as, like, it'll send me a notification if there was anything sent out there, address change, W-4s, WH-4, W-4, any tax papers or deposit forms, anything like that, and as soon as I approve it, it automatically updates it, like puts in all the numbers, so I don't have to enter any numbers. I just have to go and approve it, so, you know, it's less mistakes, you know, on my end, I've done a lot of mistakes, but I am human.
It's more private to the person actually doing all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of going through you,
Mhm.
you don't have to have all that.
Yeah.
You just have
And
to
it's
approve it,
all, I
correct?
mean, yeah, and it's all cloud-based, so it all stays, I mean, you know, it's all there, it's not like it's, you know, I got papers sitting on my desk that go in their files or whatever. I mean, it's all, and, yeah, I think that'll be nice.
How many hours a year do you think you do that? I mean, we're hiring, how many teachers are we hiring? I know we-
Last year was bad, what was the year we hired, like,
We're bringing,
One of the non-certified.
well, the non-students.
we got 4 teachers.
4 teachers are fill out for only one time, and then, like the non-students, they don't get any, you're just filling out the pay slips and then
But we
the
do-
tax information, correct?
But when you think about, and I'll speak for you, and be to cut me off, that all of the non-cert hires, that's the big piece. Because, I mean, when you think about how many assistant coaches we have in a feeder system, every one of them have to be entered, whether they're paid or not, they've gotta be entered, even if they're volunteers, there's tables that she has to do.
Well, I'm glad we clarified that, because I was thinking that the goal officer, I was thinking $12,000 for hiring 5 teachers
No.
was a waste of money, but now that you bring it into all the ECA hires and things like that, non-service, and some, you know, and I'm thinking $12,000 for hiring 5 teachers and a couple basketball coaches, this is not.
No.
But now that I know all the ECA hires and everything, we appreciate.
So substitutes, cooks,
Yeah. Now, this is all rolled into that.
bus drivers, coaches.
Yeah, everybody.
So requesting permission for that.
Yeah, hearing all that information, I have a motion to approve the voice.
Mr. President, I make that motion to approve going pro, on voice.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, all in favor? 4-0, pass.
Okay, next item, if you remember, at a previous board meeting, we approved the Blue River Environmental and Restoration Group to come in and inventory all the chemicals in the science lab. That's, it's a little room that's in between the biology and the chemistry labs. And they came in and did an inventory over spring break, and to properly dispose of chemicals that are out of date and need to be disposed of. The quote is $19,528.50 to dispose of it environmentally smart, not just pouring it down a drain or putting it in a dumpster. So that's a lot, but we don't do this every year. When Jed and I spoke, we think the last time it was done was when
It was-
Callahan retired?
No,
No,
before he
since then?
retired. I would say
Before he
5 or
retired.
6, somewhere around
So it's
there.
been 20 years since this has been done.
So I guess they provided us a list of those chemicals, and we brought it over to our science teachers and said. "Hey,
Science teachers
we
actually,
do this."
yeah. Science teachers, Ms. Gerald and Mrs. Bullock actually went in and labeled things that they use and said, we'd like to keep this if it's date appropriate to be kept. And then, they also had a chance, I think, to speak to the people when they were here to say, what is this? So, go ahead, Jay.
There were some items that had decayed enough that the metal tops were starting to decay. And that was obviously there's some sort of caustic material in there. And so they were really worried about it. Some over the years, the labels are gone. So it's just a brown bottle with a liquid in it, so.
And of course, after we purge, I'm sure there's going to be some things that they request that we repurchase. But, it is a big ticket item, but it's not something we do every year. It's been 20 years since we've done it.
Do we have to keep the NSDA sheets on file for these chemicals?
Yes, they provide all that documentation so that everybody knows we did it legally and properly.
Who manages our hazardous chemicals now?
Carol, Mr. Rockwood.
Do we have any, was this just a science lab, or did we do kind of a clean sweep of the school in terms of?
We did a clean sweep. We actually, Daryl was involved in it. We actually went back to the CTE wing as well and talked to Chad, Mr. Flint, and Mr. Carlson, and Mrs. Brinsberg, and said, do you have anything that you need them to look at that you think they need to get rid of? So it wasn't, I don't think they had anything. There may have been a couple of items in the boiler room, but this will be everything that we need to get rid of.
Including some specimens from the biology room.
There was a snake from 1990, there was another
Mayonnaise jar.
one from
That's
the mayonnaise jar,
stuff.
so it this time. So requesting permission to hire Blue River Environmental Restoration to dispose of our chemicals properly at $19,528.50.
With that information and discussion, do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the Blue River Environmental Restoration to do our unwanted chemicals.
Brad made a motion, do I have a second?
Mr. President, I'll second the motion.
John seconded, all in favor? 4-0, pass.
Next one, the summer school, also called Accelerated Learning Plan. Request permission for the elementary to have summer school for at-risk students in incoming grades 3, 4, and 5 for 12 days. This would be 3 teachers, if the enrollment warrants 3 teachers. If it doesn't, then we will back off to 2. And 2 paras, and their paid hours and hourly rates are stated there. The weeks are also stated there. And then for the identified incoming kindergarten students, it's only 8 days, and that would be 1 teacher and 1 para. So request permission for elementary to offer summer school. The state does pay some of this.
Question, clarification, 4 days a week for 4 weeks. That was Monday through Thursday.
I'm only showing 3 weeks.
So the 4th week look like I read,
Yeah.
read
I have
test administration.
June 1st to the 4th, June 8th to the 11th, June 15th to the 19th. What's the other week that you have?
The week of the 22nd.
Okay, I don't remember seeing that, Barry, on the email that we looked at.
I don't remember.
So what was the next week, please?
The week of June 22nd.
So 22nd through,
The 25th.
okay, so when is IRE 3 administration?
24th and 25th.
Because I had, on the email that I had, said June 18th to the 19th.
Don't remember.
So,
having
I'll-
that in there. I'll double check that. That could have been in there on our part.
So
I'll
June-
double check it.
June 1st through the 4th, June 8th through the 11th,
Yes.
June 15th through the 19th, June 22nd.
Not, we don't come on Fridays.
16th to 18th, that 3rd week.
Okay. And then June 22nd
To the 25th.
to the 25th. And that's for incoming grades 3, 4, and 5.
Correct.
And
Yes.
Well, no, that is your 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and 4th grade that did not pass IRE.
Right, that's incoming
Yeah,
grades 3, 4, and 5.
grade, 3rd, 4th, 5th, yes.
So really, it's 16 days. not 12 days. Okay. Same, let's double check this, 8:10 to 10:30?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Okay. And then what about incoming kindergarten students?
That one is in the week of July
20th to the 23rd?
20th to the 23rd, and 27th through the 30th. Is that what you got?
That's what I have.
Yes.
Okay,
Does this need approved tonight?
yes, because we need to get it posted
Okay.
to where we can tell teachers that want to apply to where she can make her selection. You'll notice we did avoid the 2 weeks of dead week. So that parents will at least have 2 weeks to enjoy vacation away from school. So requesting permission with the addition of the June 22nd through the 25th.
Gave that information, and a motion for second in the summer accelerated learning plan.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve, with the additions that were added.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have seconded, all in favor? 4-0, pass.
And as discussed, the state does pay some of that. And then we would also request for a teacher contract to have a high school supervised ag education class for high school credit. If we have 15 or more students enrolled in the class, and I believe we're over that right now, and that would be taught by Amy Rimsberg, which would be her hourly rate for 7.5 hours per day up to 12 and a half days. Documentation is submitted verifying what days and times and what students she met with. That is part of the requirement.
And this is in the summer too?
Yes, that is the summer as well. And that is actually in our contract, it's a position that's already been approved. I'm just requesting that Amy Winsberg be hired for that position.
With that information, I have a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion for Mrs. Winsberg to supervise and teach these classes for the.
John made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Brad seconded, all in favor? 4-0, pass.
Okay, field trips, we do have one donation, a $500 donation to the North Davies FFA from Grant and Michaela Woodruff. Request we accept that donation.
A motion regarding the donation. Motion to approve the donation. Rob made a motion, do I have a second? John seconded, all in favor? 4-0, pass.
And future meeting dates are listed, May 18th, June 15th, and July 20th. I would like to request a work session, not in April, sometime in May, to where we can just look at some board policies that we would like to tweak, and then also to talk about some other policies that we've still been working on through NEOLA, because that whole transition hasn't finalized yet.
Does it have to be before the 18th?
No.
I prefer later in the month if possible.
So sometime after May 18th. And I'll just, if you guys are okay, since Nathan's not here, I'll just text you guys and say, does this date and time work? Okay.
He'll be here for the 22nd, you can do a work session before graduation.
Nothing else going on that day, right?
Nothing else.
Afternoon work session?
Yeah.